Hey, Bhushan, I'm on mute. I'm still yet to start. As I said, we'll start in the next 2 minutes. So we'll get started. So we gave the buffer time for everyone. So we'll talk about a couple of important topics again, as I said before. So each topic is important, obviously. So we'll kind of revise what we discussed about mass changes quickly today, and then we'll go to role-based permissions, the security concepts of success factors. So this is a very key concept if you're going with the customer as well as during an implementation project, because security is the key thing in any project, obviously. And remember, in a huge projects like Pepsi or any other companies, there are people who are specifically hired for RBP itself. That means only this 1 hour class of yours for today will get you a job in huge companies where this kind of administration is required, because this is one guaranteed question for your interviews, guaranteed. And as well as I said, there are chances with big companies where they mainly focus on data migration activities and role-based permissions alone, especially when you're trying for a job at the customer side. Okay, so focus on these two things. These are very small things. If you understand the concept and if you can actually explain this is all you need for certain companies. As I said, the big ones especially, because this becomes complex as the number of people increase, the number of countries increase, number of locations, whatever requirements increase. But the concept end of the day will not change. It remains same. Maybe it becomes a bit more hectic in the sense doing a lot of maintenance, but the concept will remain same. So whatever we're going to discuss now for the next 1 hour, please try to focus, because this is your security. for success factors. Okay, so quickly we'll recap what we did on so I'm just saying we're starting with recap of what we did yesterday for mass changes, and the new concept that we're going to discuss today is role-based permissions, the security setup of success factors. That's what I said, Kanchan. So coming back, so quickly we'll try to manage mass changes. Quickly we'll check manage mass changes, what we did yesterday. So I'm creating a new thing. So as I said, when we use mass changes, so when you have a standard reorganization that happens in an organization, or let's say two departments merge together, or let's say there is a new legal entity coming up out of your legal entities, or let's say two legal entities combining together to form one legal entity. All these are different reorganization scenarios that happens in an organization, as well as let's say your HR manager changes for a particular department or for a particular location. So you need to update all the people at one go. That's called a mass change. So as I said, you can apply mass changes for job info related fields as well as your job relationships. Okay, so if you go just check this quickly. So in the job information, you've got fields. All those fields available a day. See, for example, if I want to change the legal entity for a particular group of people, I can simply select let's say I want to select this. So effective today, I can say the so-and-so particular company would be the new company. Okay, so for a particular group of people. So you can select one set of people. All the US employees will belong to this, effective today, maybe yesterday. Okay, so I'll create this and just select a particular event reason or reorganization. Right? So I just select it and then initiate it. This is obviously when you change job information, the event reason needs to be triggered, right? So you have to select the event reason for an a new one, a separate one. No, it's not. It's the same event reason, obviously. This job information, if you remember, as I said, when you change job information, an event reason is needed. An event reason is triggered. So here you select the event reason manually and then save and initiate, just like how we did yesterday. That's it. It triggers the process and changes for everyone. That's a mass change. Very simple, but effective. When you have especially changes that are related to reorganization, as I said, this is a common scenario that you'll come across, as well as when there is a job a relationship change like HR manager, because these are for a group. HR manager is for a location or for a department, so you have a HR manager responsible. So you might have to change for all of them. So it's easy to do it this way. What is the other option that you have if you don't want to go through this way? The other option is to follow a job import. Okay, so just import the job information or job relationship import, whatever you have. So that should be fine as well. But this is a system option, in-system option, without working on the import files. So whichever is easy for you, you can follow that. Okay, so this is what we discussed yesterday. So I'll quickly, I will quickly go and take the Word document. I hope everyone can see my screen. So this is an important topic. Very, very important. Okay, so So I want everyone to focus on this one because this topic is, as I said, very important when it comes to the security setup within success factors. It's very simple but very powerful. Okay, it does not talk about a lot of technical concepts. It's just to be a basic understanding. That's very important. So what you have in role-based permissions is only two steps: groups and roles. Not two steps, actually two concepts. You have something called as groups and you have something called as roles. Groups are nothing but the group of people. Okay, a group of people. Whereas role talks about your technical assignment or authorizations. So for example, you provide authorization to view a particular element or edit a particular element. So in a role, you define which permissions you get for each module. Okay, so remember, success factors has effective dated permissions as well as you have field level permissions. So you can go to field level and say which field that you can actually view for each role. So this is very important. First thing, as I said, doing it is very easy. Understanding is more complex. Okay, so you have field level permissions till field level. Okay, so you can go to the lowest level, to a field level, and you can say you can view this field or edit this field or override or delete at a field level. You can define it. Okay, so before we go there, before we see anything in the system, as I said, we need to understand this concept, how it actually works. So there is a group of people for whom we need to assign a role. Let's say there is an admin user. So who is an admin user now? Let's say this is a group. All admins will have these permissions, right? So those who are admins will be under this group called admin user. And there is a role called, let's say, system admin. So what do we define in the system admin role? We have all the authorizations. Two steps. We have a group that is created, all administrators, where all the administrators who are responsible, we put them in group. Just like how we created a group yesterday, we selected some criteria, either a username or a location or a department or a job code or a position which is responsible for creating the group. Just like how we created an employee group yesterday, when we look at our employee group scenario in manage mass changes, or when we created tiles, so we can create groups of people by selecting some criteria and it brings a population, right? So these people, all the admins will have an authorization to access this particular role. I assign this role to these administrators. So the role contains authorizations, which field you can view, which field you can edit, all those things. Now, I have a question. Let's say what I have is, I have an administrator in USA, I have an administrator in France, I have an administrator in India. Okay, 3 administrators. All of them have similar access, but the administrator in US is responsible only for employees in US. He cannot modify the data of employees in India or France or any other country. Similarly, an employee, an administrator in India should not have authorization to modify anything for the US employees, right? Similarly, an employee in France should not have access to other countries except France. Now, how is this scenario? Let's see. Did I talk about the target till now? No. I just said I have a role of an authorization group. So in the authorization group, I can put admin France. I give all the administrators in France into that group. I give the authorization for the role, which has all the authorizations. Did I talk about on whom these particular people can work on? No. So that's what the concept is. 3 stages, 3 things that we need to remember. So let's say I'll put something of this sort. Okay, so how do I put? So this is I'll put it as source group, or not even source, what should I say? This is I'll put it as source group for whom the permission is QN. And then I have a role which contains all authorizations, and then what we have is so on whom these people have permissions to do whatever authorizations that they have. This is another group called target group. So let's say in the scenario that I explained, I have an administrator in USA, I have an administrator in France, I have an administrator in India. I have a role called system administration. Okay? So how many groups will you create, and how many people, how many roles you will create? If in order to satisfy the requirement that I said, how many groups that you create and how many roles will you create? 3 roles. Okay.
1 group, 1 role.
1 group, 1 role. Who is that, sir?
Srikanth.
Okay. Can I know how it is done?
Because the role is the same, right? Because all are doing the same activity.
Okay.
So we can put all the users into 1 group and we can do that.
Okay. Okay. So now the question again. So the person says 1 group and 1 role. Okay. So in total, so 1 role per country is what you're saying, and 1 group, 2 groups per country. Okay. Okay. So, okay, that's one answer. What is the second answer? Akanchan says 3 groups and 3 roles. You're saying the same? Okay. What else?
1 role and 3 groups.
1 role and 3 groups. Okay. Any other answers? No?
There actually could be 1 group and several roles.
1 group and several roles, Rajiv?
Yeah. So say for example, if manager is a source group and there are HR manager, that could be 1 role, and the finance manager could be another role because they'll be having different kind of accesses.
No, my question is different, right? So my question is, you've got US administrator, France administrator, Indian administrator, who has to access the populations in their countries. So you have a system administrator role. So here, which you need to create for satisfying this requirement of having authorizations for these 3 people in the 3 different countries. Any other options?
You mean all admins in the sense every France admin, Indian admin, US admin, everybody is in 1 group?
No, that's something that I'm asking. So in order to satisfy this requirement of US administrator can access only US people and has a system administration access.
Right.
And,
Basically, the US administrator, within his limits, he has some criteria that says that he can access only the person's location is US, then I mean country is US, then only he can access. So I mean, even though he is in any other group, obviously he is able to access only US employees, right?
okay, so the point is simple. As I said, this is the functionality, how it works. I've shown you with an example. So the question is, so how do you satisfy this with this creation of roles? Okay, I just gave you a scenario. It's a real-time scenario. Okay, how many things that you create is just your understanding of the concept. So fine, Suresh, anyway, I'll explain. Any other answers? Maybe someone was explaining, and I guess we stopped them. Some read through or someone, I don't know who it is.
One group, one role, and then in the target group, we restrict the roles as per the country to the administrator. Maybe.
One group, one role, and we'll have target groups restricted based on country. Okay. Any other options?
Three groups,
Three roles.
3 groups, 1 role.
3 groups, 1 role. Okay. What else? Not even a single answer is correct till now. Not even a single answer is correct.
3 groups, 3 roles, and target should be 1.
3 roles, 3 groups, and 1 target group. Sorry, wrong.
No.
No, the target, actually the target is the target group or target population?
Target population or group is nothing but a group again, end of the day, remember.
Then it is 3 groups, 1 role, 3 target groups, one source group, 1 role, 3 target groups.
1 source group?
1 role, 3 target groups.
No. Okay, I'll take this back. Okay, so the point is, US administrator. Can you put anyone into US administrators group? Can you put France people into US administrators group? Obviously not, right? So let's say, for example, Praveen is an US administrator. Okay, Bhavani is an Indian administrator. And Suresh is an French administrator. So if I have to access people from India, can I do that? I should not, because I'm an US administrator. So in this scenario, what I need to do is, let's say tomorrow, few more people will come into US admin groups because the company is expanding. We need more people in US to support our operations. So let's say 2 other people joined me in my team. So I have 3 people in my group now. So these 3 people are responsible for US population. So what I have is a US administrator group having access to the role, which is system administrator, with the target population of US employees. The group that I have access to is US only. How do I do that? I create a group of US people. All the people who belongs to country USA comes under my radar. All the people who belongs to India comes under Bhavani's. All the people who belongs to France comes under Suresh. Okay, if your team, it's not just one person, if you have a team of people, then you are all under part of that particular group. So in this scenario, what I need is 6 groups and 1 role. 6 groups, admin India, admin US, admin France. 3, US, India, France population, all the population of those 3 countries. And in between you have a role. So US admin, the role system admin with the target population of US. 2 groups, 1 role. Same role will be used by French admin, but with a different target population of France employees. Same role used by Indian admin with the target population of Indian employees. 1 role, 6 groups. Forget about source and target. That's how we define it for our understanding. Okay? Source group, a target group, end of the day it's a group. You remember? I said there are only 2 things in security within SUCCESSFACTORS, groups and roles. No source, no target. It's just for our understanding. I'm naming them. Okay? So now, to come to our scenario, to understand our scenario, this becomes US admin having access to US employees, then this is Indian admin having access to the same role but for a different set of population, Indian employees. And similarly, you'll also have France admin having access to the same role. So it's again the same role, but with a different target population. France employees. Okay, is that clear? So this is same role end of the day. US people will have authorization for US employees. Indian people will have authorization for Indian employees. France admin will have authorization to edit only France people. Okay, so that's how it works. The concept is very simple. If you understand this concept, the whole of security within SUCCESSFACTORS is clear. Role-based permissions. The concept itself is derived from role, which is played around groups. A group will have the authorization, and there is another group on whom these people will have authorization on. Okay? So, okay, I'm an administrator having access for so and so things, but on whom can you make these changes for? So, you are responsible for a set of people, for a group of people. You are responsible for all the people in the organization. All of them, it could be a group. All employees could be a group, right? So, now what we are going to do is we're going to see how we do this in the system. I hope the concept is clear for everyone. Everyone, any questions at this point? Anyone, any questions at this point? The concept should be clear. This is very important. It's very simple.
Suresh, yeah?
Yes.
As we are discussing that US admin, so there are multiple admins. All admins
Right.
come into one group, right?
Right.
Okay, so in that US admin, as we discussed, we have three people in that group, and one is responsible for New York location, and the other one is Chicago, and the other one is France.
No, you can.
SF.
In that case, it's a different concept again. If in US there are three admins, one is responsible, let's say, for West Coast, other one is responsible for East Coast, and the other one is responsible for the Central region.
Yes. And how
That
many
means-
target groups should I have?
In that case, you'll create three groups, different groups. One responsible for West group, okay, West Coast admin, East Coast admin, Central admin, and then you assign them to different target populations of West Coast, East Coast, and Central. It's another 6 groups creation. Inside, there is no inside, outside. There is only a group. That's it.
Yeah, everybody is everybody is in one in some New York location. Say you are, say, as we say that
No.
US
You can't take it as that way, okay? You can, even though all the 3 admins are sitting in one place, but still this particular person is in West Coast admin. It's not about where you're sitting. It's about your job, right? So the other person is responsible for East Coast, let's say. Is responsible for East Coast, and this person is responsible for West Coast. These are 2 different groups now. West Coast admin, there might be only one person, but still it's a group. Okay, so East Coast admin is a different group with the target population of East Coast employees, this person with West Coast employees, and the central person is responsible for the central region, whatever it is.
So
You cannot group all admins of US into one group and say one person is responsible for this city or this location. In that case, what you have to create is locations wise target population groups as well as administrators responsible for those regions. Okay?
Okay. So in that case, as a standard, I can think of like, say, a role administration. I mean, based on the target role, how many groups we divided or we think of that many target groups and equivalent source groups. I mean, it's into 2 multiplied by 2, right? So like, right? Okay.
Think logically, simple. Who is the people that has access for a particular role and who are they responsible for? That's all you need to think when you create groups and roles. If you want to have an employee,
Here the domination will be the
if you want to have an
location.
employee center administrator, if you want to have a succession administrator, if you want to have a compensation administrator, obviously the roles will become different. Because you're not giving authorization for compensation for an employee central consultant. That's obvious, right? Because that's how you give it as well. So someone was saying something, the domination was always women.
The location, right? For example,
Yes.
say for example, we are doing a 29 countries rollouts, but if you see 29 countries rollouts, there will be only one HR admin specialist and one security admin specialist for all the countries. So if you want to search for an employee of US admin, because I need to go to the particular role and I have to look for the particular employee, I can able to see only those employees only.
I did not understand your question. I'm so sorry. So you said you in your role in a multi-country rollout, you've got HR specialist.
Yes.
Okay.
In the HR specialist, if we assign all this to admin like US admin, Indian admin, or France admin, so I can look for all employees, right? When I search for an employee for a particular role, HR admin specialist.
Maybe I could not understand the question correctly.
Okay, I'll send you an email. So just
so maybe you can explain so that it might be helpful for others. So scenarios are.
Yeah, sure. I'll come back to you on this question later.
Okay, so that's fine. Yeah. So coming back to maybe whatever I understand from the question. So let's say you have a central person responsible for all the HR system. Okay, so you have a person responsible for the entire population. For administrators, usually system administrators are global roles. Okay, so this is just an example for our understanding, but system administrator role is a global role because configuration can be done by anyone. You cannot restrict a person to configure legal entities of only USA. No, you can't do that. So when you give authorization to create legal entity, you can create for any country. Understand? So it's not like you can restrict to create only for US. No, that's not the way. So think about from a user perspective. Usually your HR managers or your HR administrators locally who are responsible for processes and everything. So that's where these kind of roles will come and the authorizations matters. On whom it matters, it's very key, especially in the process orientation. But from a technical orientation, if you have a system administrator responsible for the system, it's a global role actually. Okay. Mostly the functional roles will have these kind of scenarios with the target population and everything. But the technical roles like ours, where we are a consultant responsible for the system, we're a central global role, okay, which has authorization for everything almost. So the person who usually deals with role-based permissions can be called a security admin. In SUCCESSFACTORS, the terminology of the person who handles role-based permissions is the security admin. Security admin will usually have access to role-based permissions. Okay, so we'll create, as I said, we can allocate one global role to one person who has all groups allocated to him so that he can access all countries. We don't allocate all groups. Instead, we say it's for all, which I'll show you anyway. So you don't need to assign the groups to him. Instead, what we do is say all population. The whole system will be for him. So now we'll go to see manage permission groups in the first place. These are permission groups. So how do you create a role? Let's say all USA employees. So we just go select country. So I take a country. See, all the population of the country will come into this group. Let's say if you want to exclude people who are from, let's say, this location. You see, people are missing now because I excluded the people of Dallas from this group. Okay, so I can put an and condition, country and a condition. That will become another group which will further reduce. There is no or condition here. It's only an and condition. If I put another category and take something like this, let's say all those people with a hire date greater than 1/01/2015. Let's say maybe 2014. If I update, so this is the way. So here, it's an and condition. If you look at this condition here, it's an and condition. So earlier the problem was I selected different pool, so which is like an R, this pool or this pool or this pool. Within this, it's always an condition. Within one pool, it's always an and condition. So if I'm taking a different pool, so this is one group, this is one group, all of them falls under the same group now. So all people of USA as well as all the people of, let's say, India. So what was the number before? So 2.5. So I'm adding a condition which says people of India as well. That means this is a group which contains US and India now. So both the countries, it's included, or condition, US or India. If I remove this here, if I put here some condition which says San Mateo. Okay, so if I select it, it's an and condition, country US and location is San Mateo, then this condition. Okay, make sense? Sorry, I didn't understand. Right. Of course, we can select any other fields that are available. Like let's say, for example, his department or division. I'll take a department. So let's say industries. Okay, so I take industries and I update. So you only have 3 people in US who belongs to this particular department in US. Okay, so it's an and condition. Within this, remember, always it's an and condition. But if you want to have an or condition, you need to add here. In another people pool, yes. So the people pools will become different people pools, or conditions. Okay, it will bring all the people satisfying these conditions. Whereas if you selected, so it's an and condition. It takes people who satisfy country and department.
So first with our conditions, first we select the pool, and we set up people in the first pool we select country.
Anything, whatever you wish. Let's say a division. Okay, let's take this. So it says country or a division. No. So it takes 205. 205 was the number before, including people in different countries in these industries. Brings you to. So if I remove this, so it's 154 people. Whereas if I include a condition which says United States. So people belonging to industries in United States is only 144. Whereas if I include here, it says United States. You see a different number. The reason for that is US population, for example, if I remove this and show you, is 205. US employees or industry employees will belong to this group, the condition. The condition is either employees should belong to US or the industries. Industries can be anywhere in the group, anywhere in the world. So if I put an and condition which says US employees and industries employees, that means employees should belong to US and also should belong to industries, which is reducing the number to 144. So if you put the conditions within the same people pool, it becomes an and condition. Okay, so and is like, I don't know, subset and subset these conditions, right? So whereas if you take our condition, this or this, together is more. Either this or that, okay? Is that clear? How do we create groups? That means US employees or Indian employees. Both of them will be in the same group. Add another people pool.
So we can add it, right?
Of course.
So we take there is an India, it will take state, and US wise it will take state.
So let's say, for example, I take this. If 205, let's see if there is someone. No one in Hyderabad. We'll see other one. I mean, this should not be there because these are some things that our folks might have created. You don't see anyone. So that's fine anyway. So you can add any other country if you wish to have. Right? Is that clear? The groups. How do we create groups? So how do you create an admin group now? Just an example. This is target population, US employees you created, which is fine. What about what about an administrator? Simple. Take either the job code, which says US admin or anything, or you can also take the users manually and say admin. So take your administrators and put them here. So manually select the users, okay? So that should be the condition. How you create the groups, the source groups in our terminology. So the granted users belongs to the source group, usually. The US admin group is a granted group, right? So we're granting this particular group of people with this particular role that we're going to create now. Okay, group name already exists, so we'll just take the US group. Sorry? This is the target group of US population. Mm-hmm. Which admin creation? So okay, if you want to give US admin, you want to create this group who we were responsible for US admin. Let's say I take the role of US admin. Just go. Let's say I give you guys. So one person is responsible for US administration. Sorry? I do not understand. Go ahead. Sorry. Yeah, I'm selecting users manually because you only have 1 or 2 people who are responsible for the administration, right? So I'm selecting the people into this group. I can select multiple people. I can select, let's say, admin 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever. All the 4 employees are administrators. Is that clear, guys? What we're doing?
Praveen, how do we have the OR condition here?
Sorry, what is that?
How do we have the OR condition here and an OR condition here?
Put another pool here. So this becomes an OR condition. If I put another category here, it becomes an AND condition. A different people pool will make it an OR condition. Another category in the same people pool will make it an AND condition. Okay? So this would be our. So out of these 4 people, only 3 people are active. So 1 is not active as well. Who is not active, we can see that. Okay? Is that clear?
Praveen, here's the question. See, if it is, as I asked you, for HR admin specialist, as a globally that we need to assign, because for say 10 countries, and for 10 source group and 10 target group should be 1 role, right? So how are we going to assign here?
So you have HR specialist admin.
Yeah, HR admin specialist globally for 10 countries.
So you have 1 person responsible for 10 countries. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay. So these are the, let's say these are the people who are responsible for your HR specialist admin. Okay. So these are the 3 people who are responsible globally for 10 countries. So I just created a group at this point. Okay. It's only a group. We are yet to talk about the roles. We'll talk about the roles. We are yet to assign them also. We did not assign it as well. I'll show you. So this is how you create groups in the first place. As I said, there are 2 steps. That's it. Creating groups and then roles. There in the roles you assign it to groups. We have a source or the target, source group and a target group. Okay. You assign it in the next step. We're going there now. So we go to manage permission roles. Your admin group. Yeah, of course, that's an employee. I just selected an employee. Admin is not an admin. I just selected by name, username. Yeah. Manage permission roles. For manage permission groups and manage permission roles are the 2 stages that you have. Here I'm going to create a new role. Remember one thing, when you create roles, especially for employee self-service, manager self-service, you don't need to create any specific groups. You don't need to say you are a manager. There's a different way of doing it. So I'm taking this HR specialist admin role. So here you go to permissions, each permission. So which data of employees that you can view. Okay, so each field level, you've got field level permissions. These, of course, these are all the values that you see in SUCCESSFACTORS will be here. So all the permissions that you see under user permissions are from an employee level or at a front-end level perspective. Whereas all the permissions that you see under administrations will give you access to admin tools. So these are all permissions in the back-end for configuration. So for example, manage foundation objects. So here you can do it. And I can also see I can give permissions for managing all the foundation objects. This gives you authorization for manage organization pay and job structures. Within that, if you don't want to give permission for an employee to let's say delete anything and create anything, only view. These are all for consultants, of course. So this is something that we get access to. Manage mass changes, for example. If you don't want to give authorization for an employee to change, let's say, job relationships or job information. So you select only one. Okay? So these are the permissions from a back-end perspective. All the administrative privileges that you see here. Yeah. So when I select others, I can choose one out of these two. User has permission to see. So can I see all other mass changes that are created by different people, or can I only see my own mass changes, is what it says. Only users own. When I select all, it's for all the people. Anyway, these are individual permissions. When you go to each field by field, you can see what permission it is. Okay, so the user permissions will give you access in the front end when you go to employee portlets and everything, whereas administrative privilege gives you access to admin tools to go to the back end and perform something. Like for example, you want to go and import employee data, hire an employee, this is hiring an employee permission. So all these are different authorizations that you got within the system. Okay, what you have to remember is whenever you see this plus sign next to it, whenever you see a plus sign, the plus sign means it's only for the target population. The authorization that you get on that particular role is only on your target population, because these are admin roles. Sometimes you get everything, right? So, but there are certain roles, for example, set user status. If you want to make an employee inactive, can you make an employee inactive who is not under your control? You can't. So these are the roles. So even though it's an admin role, but it still has the target population in scope. It's only for the target population. When you see a plus sign, remember that's only for the target population, especially like for example, proxying. Can you proxy for all the people in the organization? No, you might be responsible only for a set of people. So you get only access to your set of people based on the target population. Right, so for example, you go here and right. So plus is equal to target needs to be defined. You see here? Simple. It's there defined on the top everywhere. Plus means it needs to have a target population. So similarly, as I said, effective dated permissions. So these are the employee central effective dated permissions, which will define field by field. You see, it's all field by field permissions coming from your succession data model. Something like this, okay? So you need to carefully go through this. I'll also show you a place where you need to download the RBP handbook. Okay, it's actually 2 steps, but it's explained field by field why you need it or something like that. Obviously, it's you can't go field by field saying, okay, this is this field, this is this field, this is this field. There's an activity that you guys have to do, I would say. And system permissions, general user permissions. Can I use a login? Can I access his flight profile? Can you create groups, permission to so-and-so forms, jam access, mobile access, Outlook permissions, All these things are different types of permissions that you give. Org chart, navigation. It won't open here. In that way you can't put it under every target. Come on. You will have one target population which we will assign after the role is defined. Can we search for people? Yes, we can. So like this, we give different permissions. See, we give these permissions. You can see them here. What permissions employee has. A particular role. You define permissions. And then you grant this role to a group of people. Like your HR specialist that you just created. Right? So just created this. So 3 people have access to that particular role. And it is granted for, is it for everyone? Or is it for a target population? Is it for target population uses department, division, location or self? Or is it for USA employees? It was only for US employees. In this scenario, what we are doing right now is we're giving this HR specialist admin role a population, a target population of US people. Similarly, let's say I create permission group and I select admin, okay, super admin, and this guy has access to everyone. And I'll also exclude the granted user from having permission to him or herself. That means I'm an administrator, but I'm not an administrator for my own data. I cannot change my own data. Right? I cannot go and make my salary $1 million every month, right? So, so I just, I'm giving it for all the people, excluding granted user. So this was something that other person was asking. So if I want to give authorization for 10 countries, of all the global countries, so this is one role which is given for all the global people. All the global population will have access to this role. So likewise, US admin, US employees. France admin, France employees. Indian admin, Indian employees. 6 groups, but one role. You understand? The same role is shared by different people. Of course, I was typing, I was searching for it. So I was searching here. This is a search option. I was searching for US. You search for US, you get. These are groups. These are groups, man. These are groups. You see here, these are target population, this is groups. If I select here, it's a group of people. Oh, of course, yeah. Is that clear? Everyone the concept? Sure.
Praveen, there you mentioned HR admin specialist as USA employee. So like that I have to create, if it is 10 countries, 6 countries eligible for one HR admin specialist and another HR admin specialist eligible for 4 countries. So for USA employees, China employees, India employees, so we need to create as a group, then we need to assign to this particular role, right?
So in your case, maybe you can create 2 groups, all the 6 countries under one group, all the 4 countries under a different group, and you create 2 different HR specialists responsible for these 2 groups.
Yeah. So you mentioned yes, USA. You mentioned as USA employees. That means it's only for USA employees.
Right.
Or I can make this as a group. I can assign all the 6
No, you
countries.
can assign. Actually, you can assign here. Let's for example, France as well. You want to assign US and France. You can assign it to the same group of people.
Yeah.
So let's say, for example, I want to put India as well. Canada. Just taking some example again. What else? What else you have?
Australia.
I don't see any, but likewise you can simply search. Like anyway, there is nothing, so you can simply search for different group of people.
Okay. So assigning to that.
Yes. So I'm selecting 2 countries here. Likewise, you can select 4 groups, 5 groups under one particular administrator.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Is that clear? So quickly, we'll do this again. Simple, very simple. First, create a group of people, whichever condition that satisfies. So you need to put the condition there. Then we come here, create a role with all the authorized required permissions. So this is an activity that you need to work with your customer, especially the permissions part, because your customer is a person who knows what permission that needs to be given for a manager, for an employee. Okay, what can employees see on their own data? So you can give this employee self-service his own data, his own self. So when you have to go and select their self, user self. So Kanchan, was that a question or? Okay, sorry. Okay, so here, quickly, we're doing it again. You create groups. Groups is nothing but a group of people, right? So employees, France employees, we have, or let's say we select Mexico employees. So I select some country. So I select some country, Mexico. Let's see. So 6 people belongs to Mexico. Right, so there's a new group of people. Then we come and create a role. So in this new role, what we have to do is I'll create a new role, give a name to the role. Not from the group. It's 2 different things. Under first you have manage permission groups and then manage permission roles. 2 different icons. So you come inside, then go and give permissions in each of the sections that are required. So you go to employee data. You give all the fields that you want to give authorization for. And then you go to employee central effective dated entities. This is where you see all the employee central fields in the system. Right, so you'll also see your own custom fields here. If at all you create a custom field, it will be available here. If you don't find it, don't think you did not do it right. You might not have given the permission to view it. When you create a new custom field, you need to provide authorization to view it in the first place. Then you give all the permissions, like as I said, you have user permissions, administrator permissions. You define as per the role requirements, and then you scroll down to the bottom of the string. Here, you assign the permission to a group of people with a target population. So here you can assign one role to multiple groups or multiple people. For example, if it's a manager self-service, you give the role to all managers, and granted users direct reports, or you can include access to the reports up to 1 level or 2 levels or 3 levels or all the levels. You can define that as well. It's for his direct reports. That's when you want to define how depth a manager can control. Let's say I'm your manager and my manager is, let's say, him. So his manager is Bob. His manager is him. So can he see your data? If yes, then how? If not, how? If I don't want to define it, if I want to define a manager to view only 2 levels down his direct reports, then you need to define the depth of it. Yeah. So usually it's like 1 or 2 levels, not more than that you provide authorization, or you provide for all the levels. Right? Make sense?
And what is the difference between this include access grant user help and exclude grant user?
So that's only for me. Include access to granted user. That means employee self-service. This is given to everyone, all the employees in the organization. And
Whereas the same exclude grant.
yeah, there are 2 different permissions. Employee on myself. My own data as an employee, I can modify it. I'm an administrator. Can I modify my own data as an administrator? No. So as an employee, I should get self-service access, whereas as an administrator, I should not have access to modify my own data. Understand? That's when you exclude the person from having access to himself. Whereas if you want to assign an authorization for employee self-service scenario, then you give authorization to granted user, self. I want to change my address. I'll give authorization to self. That's what you define in employee self-service scenario. Whereas let's say I'm a system administrator. I can modify salaries, I can modify everything. Can I assign the same authorization for myself as well? Can I go and modify salary of my own data? Usually don't give it. See, you get access as an employee for your own self. As an administrator, if I don't exclude him, he will also get the administrator access on his own data. Whether you want to give that or you don't want to give that. Depends on your choice. I did not understand, sorry. You did not understand the concept of self?
This I understood, but in the NDS field we had include permissions also in the option.
Which screen? Here only, right?
Yeah.
So for manager options have changed. All the managers will have access to so-and-so permissions on the granted users direct reports, or direct reports in so-and-so groups, or 1 level down, or 2 levels down, or 3 levels down, or only for himself. Okay? Make sense? Now, is that clear? His own data. Good. Right, so this is how your permissions work. Is it clear, everyone?
Praveen, where do we define the time frame here, Praveen? Where do we define the time frame here, Praveen?
No, we don't have a time frame in SUCCESSFACTORS. You can't say this is valid from 5 days. You can't say it's only valid for 1 day. No, you can't say that. No, there is no validation. Can't say that. We can't say that. There is no date effectiveness in the permissions. You can't say the role is valid for 1 day, like your 5 fighters. This is not SAP, as I say. This is how it works. Yeah, if you want to stop it, you have to come and stop it here. You can make it inactive.
Praveen?
1 second, I'm answering a different question here.
Praveen, one question.
Wait a second, I'm answering a different question. Okay. Right. Yeah, when he promotes himself, it always based on the role. Unless until the roles are defined at a user level. Right, so if he's a general manager, if general manager has a super admin access in the organization. So once he gets promoted to general manager, based on the job itself, he inherits the role. He belongs to that group of general managers. We don't change roles. When an employee changes, we don't change roles. Date. From the date of when he gets into general management, he gets the access. No, obviously. Come on. How can you get it? Even before going to general manager, system does not know that you are a general manager. Because SAP, you define it at a user level, right? Usually that's how we do it. Here it's not. Sorry, someone had a question. Yes.
Praveen, we are logging into the system as an admin 2. Admin 2 is a employee or it is a role?
It's a user. Admin 2 is a user. It's not a role. It's not anything.
Admin 2 means he is an employee here?
He's an employee, yes.
Admin 2 is an employee.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So I think we'll stop here. I received a lot of requests last time to stop a bit early because people have some meetings. So we'll stop here, guys. We'll catch up tomorrow. We'll see if you guys have any questions, and then we'll continue some other topic tomorrow. So as I said, these are all important topics because this deals with a lot of